Dear students, I welcome all for this session. In this practical session, we are going to implement a linear queue using C language, a program to perform various operation on a linear queue. So we are going to implement this linear queue using array. So linear queue using one-dimensional array. So for that, I'll include the preprocessor directories as include stdio.h, then as include conio.h. In the next line, I'll declare some global variables like an array called q of size 50, and I'll declare the maximum size of the queue as 5. And to keep track of the front and rear end, I'll use two pointer variables called front and rear. Initially, these pointer variables are set to -1, which represents the queue is empty. In the next line, I'll include a void main. Next, so in the main method, I'll ask the user to enter his choice, whether he wants to perform insertion, deletion, or display. Okay, so for that, I use a looping statement, which is infinite looping statement. Hence, have declared a for loop with only semicolon, no condition, no initialization, and no incrementation. So within this for, I'll write printf enter your choice. Okay, so 1 for NQ operation /t, 2 for DQ operation /t, 3 for display operation /t, and 4 to exit. 4 to exit /n, semicolon. In the next line, I'll read the choice of the user by writing scanf %d, comma, ampersand, choice, choice. Okay. Now I'll declare this variable choice here, int choice, int choice. In the next line, I'll write CLR SCR, semicolon. So after reading the user choice, now I'll perform the operation. So for that, I'll be using a switch statement, switch. To this switch, I'll pass the choice of the user, choice of the user. Next line, if the choice is 1, that is case 1, then have to ask the user to enter the item to be inserted into the queue. Hence, I'll print a message, printf, enter the item to be inserted into the queue. Enter the item to be inserted into the queue, semicolon. Next, I'll read that item using scanf %d, comma, item. Now have to declare this item also. Here I'll declare that item as integer variable, ampersand item. After reading this item value, now I'll call the enqueue function. So to this enqueue function, I'll pass this item as a parameter. Next, after this, the case 1 ends, I'll write break statement. I'll use break statement here. Just I am making an alignment. Next, if the user enters 2, that is the second choice is DQ. Hence, I'll call DQ function. To this function, you need not pass any parameters directly. The item in the front end will be deleted by the queue. Next, break, semicolon, then case 3. Case 3 is display. Just call display function. I'm just writing the name of the function. Later, we are going to define these functions. Semicolon. Next, case 4 is to exit. Call exit function with the parameter value as 0. Next, break, semicolon, switch, close, then for loop close. After closing, you're going to end the main method by writing getch, semicolon, then bracket close. That is wide main close. Now we are going to define the body for enqueue function. Enqueue. This function is going to accept one parameter. So I'll declare the variable yearly, which is nothing but an element that we have to insert into the queue. So before inserting an element into the queue, just check whether the queue is full. How do you check? If the rear pointer is pointing to the maximum size -1, then it indicates that the queue is full. Hence, you will print a message that the queue is full. Queue is full. /n, double quotes close, semicolon. Else you're going to insert an element. If you are inserting the first element into the queue, then along with rear pointer, you're going to increment the front pointer. Just check that condition. If front equals to -1, it means you are performing insertion on the queue for the first time. In this case, front pointer is set to 0. Okay, else you're going to increment the rear pointer, and to the queue of rear pointer, you're going to insert that element. After inserting an element, you can print a message to the user that the item is inserted. Item is inserted /n, semicolon, then else block close and enqueue function close. Next, we are going to define the body for DQ function. DQ. This function does not accept any parameter. Before deleting an element from the queue, just check whether the queue is empty or not. If the front pointer is pointing to -1, it indicates queue is empty. Printf, queue is empty. You cannot perform deletion operation on an empty queue. Else you're going to delete the front element. Suppose if you are deleting the last element, that is the only one element in the queue, then you have to set both front and rear pointer to -1. Okay. Before deleting an element, I'll just print the deleted element. Printf, the deleted item is %d/n, comma, which is the deleted item, that is queue of front. Queue of front element will be the deleted element. Now we are going to perform the actual deletion. Suppose if there is only one element in the queue and you are deleting that element, you have to set both front and rear pointer to -1. So we will check that condition. If front and rear are both pointing to the same location, if both are pointing to the same location, then it indicates that there is only one element in the queue and you are deleting that element. In that scenario, you have to set both front and rear pointer to -1. -1. Okay. If both front and rear pointer are pointing to -1, it indicates that the queue is empty. There are no elements. Else, you are going to simply increment the front pointer to delete the item. Okay. So this completes else block and the DQ function. Next, we are going to define the body for display function. Display. So before displaying the elements of the queue, just check whether the queue is empty. If before displaying the elements, check for the condition. If front equals to -1, it indicates that the queue is empty. So you will print a message, queue is empty. /n semicolon. Else printf the elements are /n. I'll use a for loop here. For I equals to, from the front end to the rear end, you are going to display the elements. So initial value for I is front and I less than or equal to rear, then I plus plus, then printf %d/t, comma, q of I, semicolon. Then else block close and display function close. Okay. So I have to declare this variable I here, int I, semicolon. Next, save the file. I'll save it as now I'll compile the file. There are some warnings. You can neglect warnings. Now I'll execute the program. I'll enter the first choice. Since I have defined the size of the queue as 5, maximum you can enter 5 elements into the queue. Let me insert 5 elements. Okay. So I'll insert the first element, that is 1. I'll insert the second element, that is 2. Third element 3. Fourth element 4. Fifth element is 5. Now, if I try to insert one more element, that is 6, I should get a error message. See, the queue is full. So 6 was not inserted. You can check by calling display function. The elements in the queue are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because the size of the queue is 5. Only 5 elements you can insert. Now I'll call DQ function. So the first element that was deleted is 1. Similarly, I'll call DQ 5 times. After calling DQ 5 times, the queue becomes empty. Okay. Now if I call display function also, it should give the message that the queue is empty. So this is about the linear queue program. And to exit from the screen, I'll enter 4. Thank you.